If you ask most hip-hop fans about Lil Wayne's story, they'll probably tell you about the music, or how he helped launch the careers of artists like Drake and Nicki Minaj. But what if I told you that none of that was supposed to happen? Before Lil Wayne became one of the biggest rappers in the world, he came dangerously close to losing his life as a kid at just 12 years old. And the person who saved him wasn't a family member, a friend, or someone from the music industry. It was a white police officer. To understand how crazy this story really is, we need to go back to New Orleans in the early 1990s. Long before the fame, Wayne was just a kid named Dwayne Carter Jr., growing up in the Hollygrove neighborhood. The area was known for crime, poverty, and violence, and opportunities were hard to come by. But even at a young age, Wayne had already found something he loved. While most kids his age were focused on school or sports, Wayne spent his time writing lyrics and dreaming about becoming a rapper. And unlike most childhood dreams, this one was starting to become real. At only 11 years old, Wayne had already caught the attention of Birdman and Cash Money Records. Birdman, whose real name is Brian Williams, was one of the founders of Cash Money Records, a rapidly growing label based in New Orleans. At the time, the label was becoming known for discovering local talent and helping young artists build careers in hip-hop. Wayne's natural ability and confidence stood out immediately, and Birdman quickly saw potential in him. Before long, Wayne was spending time around the label, learning from established artists and getting a first-hand look at the music industry long before most kids his age could even imagine such an opportunity. For a kid growing up in Hollygrove, this was the opportunity of a lifetime. It wasn't just music anymore, it was a way out, a chance to completely change his future. But not everyone around him saw it that way. According to Wayne's own account, his mother became concerned about the direction he was heading. She wanted him to focus on school and stay away from certain influences surrounding the music business. From her perspective, she was trying to protect her son. But from Wayne's perspective, it felt like his dream was being taken away. And that's where things started to go wrong. Now remember, Wayne wasn't an adult. He wasn't a global superstar. He was a 12-year-old kid trying to process emotions that most adults struggle to handle. Music had become his entire identity. It was the thing that gave him hope, the thing that made him believe he could escape his circumstances. So when he thought that dream might disappear, he felt completely lost. Then came the day that would change everything. For years, many fans believed Wayne accidentally shot himself. That's the version of the story that most people knew. But decades later, Wayne revealed something shocking. According to him, it wasn't an accident. It was a attempt. Suddenly, the story became much darker than anyone had realized. A 12-year-old kid, alone, feeling hopeless, and holding a gun. Moments later, a gunshot echoed through the apartment. The bullet struck him in the chest. Wayne collapsed onto the floor, seriously wounded and losing blood fast. At that point, every second mattered. A 911 call brought police officers to the scene. Several officers arrived at the apartment, but according to Wayne, something happened that he would never forget. While other officers were focused on securing the scene, one officer noticed that a child was dying right in front of them. That officer was Robert Hubler, the man Wayne would later call Uncle Bob. And what happened next may have changed hip-hop history forever. According to Wayne's retelling of the story, Uncle Bob spotted him lying on the floor and immediately understood how serious the situation was. The problem was that waiting for medical help could take too long. Wayne was losing blood, so Uncle Bob made a decision. Instead of waiting around, he picked Wayne up and rushed him to the hospital himself. No speeches, no hesitation, just action. And that decision saved Wayne's life. Think about that for a second. One decision, one officer, one moment, and an entire future was preserved. Doctors managed to save Wayne, and after recovering, he was given something incredibly rare: a second chance. Most stories would end there, but this one gets even better, because Wayne never forgot what Uncle Bob did for him. As the years passed, Wayne's career exploded. He became one of the most successful rappers of all time. Millions of records sold, multiple Grammy Awards, worldwide fame, and eventually a place among the most influential artists in hip-hop history. But despite all the success, he continued talking about the officer who saved his life.
Refuse. When I say refuse, there's a man in New Orleans. His name is Uncle Bob. He came into an apartment one day. He busted in the door, guns drawn. He saw nobody. He saw legs on the floor. It was my legs. He saw blood everywhere. A bunch of police hopped over me. He refused to do so. I never knew. I talked to him the other day. I never knew EMS was on the scene. He said EMS tried twice and they told him, there's nothing. He refused to let that die. He told his somebody, come drive this car, forget an ambulance. He brought me to the hospital himself. He refused to wait. He kicked in the doors. He said, you get whatever you gotta do and you make sure this child make it. Not only that, that day, Uncle Bob was a homicide detective. He was off on detail. He just heard the call and came. Not only did he refuse to sit, not only did he just give me to the doctors and leave, he refused to leave. He stayed and made sure that I made it. I saw Uncle Bob the other day. I saw Uncle Bob a billion times other than that, in a restaurant a few times. He refused to let me pay for his meal. He refused to let me tip the waitress or the waiter. He refused to let me do anything, take care of anything. I saw him the other day. I said, Uncle Bob, let me help you in any kind of way. This man has 2 amputated legs. He refused to stop. He's not in a wheelchair. He's walking. You know what he asked for? A job.